Hello, and welcome to the Colorado Division of Housing Mobile Home Park Oversight Program series of registration training videos. It is January of 2023, and my name is Cassie Vandermeer. I am the Program Specialist for Registrations. I will be guiding you through several short videos to help better explain new registration requirements with the state and generally how to fill out the registration forms and provide all the required supporting documents. This video will provide an example of how to navigate to and fill out the online registration form. If you prefer to use the paper form, there are links to PDFs available on the program's website, and otherwise the forms were mailed out to landlords about 60 days prior to expiration dates. And the information provided here in this video may still help in filling out the paper forms. Before beginning the online registration form, there are a couple of items to note. First, confirm you are within 60 days of your expiration date. The program will not accept registration renewals more than 60 days before an expiration, and the online form will prohibit you from submitting a new registration if it is too early. And by 60 days, we do mean calendar days. So for instance, if your registration expires February 1st of this year, you wouldn't have been able to submit before December 3rd of 2022. For March 1st, it would not have been earlier than December 31st of 2022, and so on. 2, please be sure you've already been activated to use the online form. If you've previously registered online and haven't changed any of your email addresses, you should still be perfectly good to log in and renew. If you are unsure if you've been activated, don't recall which email address you used for a username, or you just want to change your email address that you're using, please contact us at MHPOP@state.co.us. and we can look up your username or activate you to use the online system. Please do not create a new account. The only instance a new account should be created is if the mobile home park is now truly a new park. We otherwise likely already have information in our database concerning your park, and it would be best just to email us to confirm what to do. If we do not yet actually have your information, we will let you know if you can just go ahead and create a new account. Please also check what web browser you are using and that you are using a computer. Since our online form is supported by Salesforce, it requires the use of Google Chrome and a computer to work correctly. We have learned recently that browsers like Safari drop important and required information off the form that can't be added back in. Therefore, it doesn't allow you to submit the online form. We've also seen sometimes phones and tablets don't allow users to upload documents that are required and then doesn't let them submit the online form. Once you confirm all of these items, click on the word "Here" underneath annual registration links previously applied online or have been activated to register online. This word "Here." This will take us to the login page for the online registration form. As you can see here in my example login username, there's a +301 next to my email address or within my email address. We use something like this in instances where there are multiple accounts that we are trying to attach to a single user. We have to have unique usernames for each park account, so that is why we use this function. Once you're on this page, if you've forgotten your password, you can go ahead and follow your forgot your password prompts and enter your email address in on the next page. For those that have the plus somethings in there, you should probably still enter your one main email address. If you're not able to reset all of your park accounts login passwords, reach out to us at our email address and we can help you get those passwords reset. So now next, we're going to log in and look at the online user account and go through the online form. So go ahead and log in. And then you're immediately taken to your renewal form. If you were, say, more than 60 days before your expiration date, there would be a warning at the top here in orange telling you can't renew yet. That is normal, and that is to warn you that you are too early to renew your registration or that there's already a pending application in your system. Going through the actual online form now, part 1 is information about the mobile home park, like the name of the park. That in this instance, we want the name of the park that your tenants will recognize the most. We don't always want LLC names here. Those can actually be put down into the DBA section. So if you see something in there that you're not expecting for a mobile home park name, it's likely something we updated, because as parks are sold and bought, sometimes the park names will stay the same, but the otherwise underlying business name changes. So we try to keep the actual park name there that's more known to the public, and then in the DBAs where we've been putting business names. If you have any updates to this section, we generally ask that you just email us requesting updates to that section. There is a way through the My Account page. You can edit that information there, but you'll want to do that first before you start doing anything else with the registration form. Our registration forms do not save your progress, so you want to be able to do this all in one go. Moving on to the next questions within part 1. Of course, you have your age restriction question. This one's not required, but we do ask it just for general data purposes. Most communities are all ages communities, but there are senior communities out there. If you have any business name that I was talking about up here, you can put that down here for your doing business as name. If you have any more legitimate, otherwise business names that are related to the park, you can put those DBAs here as well. Currently, if you are not chosen yes or no, the fields are going to show grayed out and uneditable. Once you click yes, they will show as you can edit them. If you click no, they'll continue to be gray. And in this instance, just for the example's sake and time's sake, I'm just going to keep it as no. And then we're going to move on to the next section about the lot types in the mobile home park. This section is directly related to the mobile home address list, which you will upload below down here with the choose file option. We have a separate video that discusses the mobile home address list. That link is available on our webpage, on the registrations webpage under other guidance items. So if you need a refresher on what to do with the mobile home address list and learn about the new required items for 2023, you want to go watch that video before finishing your registration form. But in the meantime, in this section, you put in your various number of types of mobile homes and lots. As an example, since this tends to confuse folks a lot, I'm actually going to say there are 0 park or tenant-owned mobile homes. I'm going to do this because even if your park has 0 tenant-owned mobile homes, but you have 5 or more otherwise occupied mobile homes, if you own them, so in this instance, if it is just right on 5 park-owned mobile homes, you do still need to register with the program. You just simply won't owe a registration fee. So we're going to continue with this. I'm just going to put in some arbitrary numbers because this is an example. I'm just going to kind of do that. And as you can see here with the automatic calculation thing down here, it only takes line A for calculating a registration fee, because registration fees are only due for occupied tenant-owned mobile homes. So I put in 0 there, so therefore I do not owe a registration fee. If I had 1, it would have been 24. If I had 2, 48, and so on. So please be careful with like the numbers you're entering here so that you're actually paying the correct registration fee amount. And with that as well, the lots that you list on your address list should directly correlate to these numbers. If they do not, our staff will follow up with you to clarify why the numbers are different or off. So when you're making your list, just make sure you're being very wary of not doing like a duplicate line or skipping a lot, things like that. Sometimes small little mistakes like that happen, we understand. But our staff does very carefully count address lists and compare them to these tables. And that's why you often hear from us about getting clarification about lot numbers. Once you're done with that, and once you've filled out your address list, you can go ahead and click Choose File and go find the file that you filled out on your address list. I have a random blank version here I'm going to upload. And then you can move on to part 2 of your registration form, which is information on the owner of the mobile home park. In this section, we have a new upload field where you upload a property record report or similar supporting county assessor documentation. If you don't know what this is, there is a separate training video on how to get this report from the assessor's offices. I highly recommend going and watching that if you need some guidance on how to pull the correct type of report that we're looking for. And once you get that information, go ahead and click Choose File and upload it to the registration form. And then move on to the next questions. So the next one has to do if the legal owner of the mobile home park is a domestic or foreign limited liability. This is also kind of related to your assessor report. If on your county assessor documents, it has a business listed as the owner of the park, you will want to click yes on this question. And then if you click yes on this, a new field pops down asking you to supply a certificate of good standing from the Colorado Secretary of State's office. There's also another registration training video on how to pull this type of document. You can go watch that briefly, and then you can go get your document and upload it here as well. If you are if your legal owner of the park is a business. So for example, I'm just going to upload some items I have here, and then you'll have to put in the business name that's listed on your assessor report. In the assessor recording, there is a description of if the assessor information does not match what is now the active current owner information for your mobile home park, you will want to submit a request to the county assessor to change that information. And you will want to email us your proof that you have requested that information, and then you can put in your current active information here on the registration form. So yeah, moving on, we're going to continue putting in a example on this form so I can also submit it here at the end. I'm just going to put examples, and then I'm going to put our address for the program on here. I did that backwards. Curious, the information I'm adding in here is the mailing address and phone number for the Mobile Home Park Oversight Program. I'm also going to put our email address on here for you as well, in case you want to see it again. But it is my example, and that's it. So this is the instance if there's a business that owns the park, and that business is also reflected on the assessor's report. Going down here, if there is a business that owns the park and another entity has financial or management control of said business, you would click yes here. And this is where you would enter in that controlling entity's contact information. I'm going to leave it as, I'm going to first hit yes so you can see what it looks like. If you need to enter an FEIN number, that's something that's done through my account, which I at this point would recommend doing after you submit your registration information. Otherwise, you can just put in the name, who a contact person is, all that pretty straightforward stuff listed there. For the sake of time, I'm actually going to leave this as a no. And then going on to part 3, information on the manager of the mobile home park. Oh, actually, before I do, I'm going to backtrack a moment here on the owner email address. This will also affect the manager email address if you do have a separate manager that will be your primary contact. Whoever you select as a primary contact, and if you want them to receive a confirmation that this application gets submitted, make sure to enter an email address directly here on this form. The way the form is designed this year doesn't actually pull from any previous contact information already in our database. It will only send to the primary contact indicated on this new form. But anyways, back to part 3, manager. If you have a park manager that you want to supply their contact information on, you can click no, and then it will bring up their information. If that park manager is part of a business, you can put in, you can choose the option that's most relevant here. So if the business is the same that owns the park, you can click yes, it's the same business entity, and then you don't have to enter any business information again. If it is a different business entity, so say like up here, I have Sakura MHP LLC, say the business address for the manager is something like Manager LLC, I don't know, we're just making things up. So then you can put it there. If there is no business attached to your manager and they just work for you at the park, you can just say no and put their name and information into this section, or if they're just a general individual. I'm again, for the sake of time in filling this out in this video, I'm going to just say that the manager is the same as the owner above, so all of that information hides. There was also, I forgot to point out, there's a question, if it is a different business entity, it does bring up another controlling entity question. So say the management company for your park is controlled by another company, that's where you would enter in that other company's information if they exercise financial or management control of that management company. That all you can figure out depending on how your whole business structure is. For the sake of this, I am just going to say it's the same business and same person. And then on part 4, if you actually had a separate owner and manager, you could then select which one is going to be your primary contact. If your registration looks like this, where it is a single owner manager person that owns and manages their own park, you just can select owner there and then go down here, read through the legal notices, and then you can sign it. So I'm just going to put example on here, and then I will submit my application. If you had a registration fee that was going to be due, usually at this point, the form would then automatically take you to the registration payment page, where you would just follow the prompts there to go over to Colorado Interactive to pay your registration fee. For those that don't know, Colorado Interactive, I believe, is the same system that something like the DMV uses when you renew your driver's licenses online. It's the same kind of payment system. So any emails you get for your payment from them is something separate from what our office actually issues as well. So once you hit submitted, and if you had that email address for your primary contact, you should get a separate email that is an application submitted confirmation email. And that should be your main notice that your application is submitted and everything was attached and you are good to go until staff review your application and determine whether or not it's complete. If there are any issues, our staff will reach out and ask for clarification. If everything is good and the payment process is all great, then we will approve the application and you'll get an automated email that says your application was approved and provides your next expiration date. And that is how the online form works. The paper form is quite similar. The difference is obviously you either mail or email that in and then our staff enter it on our end, but those same automated emails can happen if you provide an email address. Otherwise, we do try to at least send the application approved letter to you if you do not have an email address. I hope you have found this training useful, but if you have specific questions or need additional assistance, please reach out. Our staff are happy to help. We can be reached by email at mhpop@state.co.us or by calling our toll-free number at 1-833-924-1147. Please provide us your specific questions or at least a general idea of what you may need assistance with, and we will respond as quickly as we are able. Thank you.